Like to
Imagine there
call
used to
the-
be an operator on the other
Get
end.
something that
I'd like to call the meeting to order, Scituate Council on Aging, Thursday, December 11th at 5:05. We'll do a quick round as always of introduction. I'm J.D. Miller, the chair. I'll go this way.
Linda Hayes Kelly, Director.
Kelly Welsh, Assistant Secretary.
Janine Chisholm, Outreach Coordinator.
Susan Pope, Board Member.
Dee Dwyer, Board Member. Leslie James, Board Member.
Lori Brady, Board Member.
Russ Bowman, Board Member. Susan Drovich Kelly, Vice Chair.
Kenzie Vanderburg, representing South Shore Elder Services.
Bethany O'Connor, board member.
Pat Compton, Board Member.
Freya Schlegel, Select Board.
Thank you all for being here. As always, kind of first order of business, I think everybody, well, I know Linda said it on yesterday, meeting minutes from last month. You can take a minute and take a quick look at that so we can approve the minutes from November 13th. To read it back.
Those were Anna's.
Nice quality paper.
Is it?
It really is.
Do not know what we, sorry.
That's good.
Kleenex, maybe.
Thank you. Does anyone have any comments, edits, wordsmithing for last month's minutes? Okay, very well done. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes for December, or November 15th?
I move that we approve the minutes of the November meeting.
Thank you, Susan. Do I have a second?
Second?
Thank you, Leslie. Just leads us right into our director report.
Okay. Well, I think I will chalk it up to November being a short month. Feels like we just met, of course, but then we did have Thanksgiving and an extra day off. We seem to have had 20 new member registrations during the month of November. Again, I will say, even as of today, you know, people are coming in all the time. I just heard someone sign up right before we closed tonight. Our official registrations for the upcoming January and February calendar, so to speak, are scheduled to open, sounds very official, for new events on Monday, December 22nd. Now I say that because, and I'm not even sure we got that into the newsletter, which is an oversight, but we were really frantically trying to get that done by December 8th, which is really early.
Yeah, good.
I mean, we always try for the, somewhere around the 12th to the 15th. Technically speaking, you know, we could be later, and it just means it's not in their hands earlier. I mean, there was a time, if it was in their hands by the 1st of the next month, we were pretty happy. Now it's gonna be in people's hands 2 weeks before the end of the month, or at least online, which it is.
It was,
It's online now.
Yep.
But that makes it hard then, okay, so now they're already calling to sign up for things, which not everyone's seen the newsletter, so I've spoken about that before, but, so now we're setting a date, but we do have to get better about making sure everybody knows what that date is. We do make it the Monday, I don't actually know why, but I think Bob Jackman's class, for instance, is one that drives that, because they're always, you know, it's a limited number. Even at 29, it's a limited number. So, but now we have more. We've got reflexology, we've got other things that fill up, and so we just try to keep a level playing field. So that's what that is. We were forced to do it earlier this month because not only of liturgical's calendar with the holidays, but also because of J&R Graphics, who does the mailing, and hasn't been super quick, even when it's been delivered, to get that done for us, and they have closings as well, days close, so anyway. It's hard.
What would be ideal? 2 weeks in advance? 1 week in advance?
What would be ideal?
For the registration date, for the fall.
Oh, you know, you don't want it to be too late, because then you only
Right.
have a limited amount of time before the event or activity is supposed to start. So, you know, I guess that somewhere between 1 and 2 weeks is sufficient.
So
So
that
like the
holidays
29th was a little late.
affected
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
December, and
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
it was backed up.
Right.
Yeah.
But like at first, we were doing the 29th to start, and that went in the newsletter for wellness, for reflexology, which is the popular one, and any of those other things. But that was a little late for some things that we want to make sure we have enrollment for, so just saying. So the 22nd is better, so we moved it up, because we did it so early and it was immediately online. But now we print copies to just place around the center so that people can look at it if they don't look online, even though they don't have physical copies yet, and won't have a physical copy until, you know, hopefully before the 22nd, but around then, you know, maybe that Friday before. So anyway, that's a little bit about that. Was invited and participated again. I've done this for at least a few years, and it's very fun, to go to the high school and be part of the civic action project that they always assign every year, but newer last year and this year is that they do an introduction to the kids first, from all the various resources department, people, other organizations in town that might give the students ideas for their civic action projects. And it's more than community service, it's really something meatier that they're trying to encourage the kids to do. So we talk a little bit, an overview of what we do or what we are, and then also they have to have certain questions. And so it's a really fun
Good.
hour and a half. I
Yeah.
don't know if you had done it, Freya.
No, I'm not.
You did not. Well, not yet. let's
I
say
was like,
that.
I'll wait a year and do it next year.
Because, you know, honestly, and I thought about not doing it this year, and I'm like, you know, I would miss it. So it is a morning, it's a morning out, but it's a fun thing. And then in May, they do the projects, and then most of us get invited back to hear them, and they do their little presentations right in front of their projects and all, and we sort of evaluate a little.
Can you give us an example of like an idea that was tossed around for civic action?
Well, from us, we didn't necessarily give them
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
information
no.
per se, but let's say there was an example given by the teachers where there's a difference between maybe, if I remember right, like helping to recycle, that would be community service, versus coming up with a better means for better water and having that available to all people. So, I don't know, there was some sort of distinction there, that it should be a long-range kind of effect that their solution to a problem might bring. So
Is it just for seniors?
it's the 10th grade.
Or 10th grade project, but so all the 10th graders participate, are they teams or?
Yes, they do, they rotate them. So some of them signed up maybe for the group I had. It was myself with Ed Kuchersky for Etrusco, and the young woman that does the Alzheimer's Association, so she was there too.
Oh, so they have a
So they
choice.
group them in different ways.
Oh,
Last
that's
year, I
interesting.
was with Jim Boudreau and Patrick O'Connor. Very, you know, linguistic, I mean, they could talk right to anyone and talk for an hour. So that was hard to follow. That was a little hard to follow them. But, so they do it differently every year. Anyway,
It's good.
so, just mentioning that, I did have both new Cohasset director and assistant director, so for their senior center, they're both new. Come to check out our kitchen program. It's not for the first time, but, you know, everybody's trying to start something similar. And so, of course, we have a reputation now, so they just came to see and hear what we do.
Who actually is the new director in Cohasset?
I can give you her first name and not her last name
Oh,
right off the
okay,
top
I
of
just
my
know
head.
it was somebody I knew.
His name's Danica Patrick.
Castle,
Oh, Castle.
What is it,
Danica.
Danica?
Danica Castle.
Okay, thank you, Susan. And the assistant director is a Scituate person. Her name's Mara Quinn.
What's her name?
Mara Quinn,
She used to be in Hull.
she did.
Okay.
Anyway, okay, so we've had, you know, outside group meetings, of course, they're getting a little busier. I did have a request, which we did last year, it's not on here, but the woman that is a social worker that does our caregiver support group, but also handles some of the decluttering treatment groups and information that they do try to do all the time, so it's usually grant funded. So last year she did her group here, so she can do it again. That's a Tuesday, starting like at 4 to 5:30, I think is her time frame, for 10 or 12 weeks. But then a second request came in if she could do something else on a Wednesday night, and I really had to say, you know what, there's a lot of meetings on a Wednesday night. I don't know that I can even give up a room on a weekly basis, so I'm not sure yet about that, but it's busy enough to say that, anyway, unless it's just a one-off type of thing. So we have a few of the committees that like to meet here regularly. We are still doing here and there once or twice a month. So far, the AARP brings in their volunteers and does training, but as you know, then they will be here the mid to the end of January for their 3-month stint, using the Peggotty Room on Tuesdays and Thursdays, as well as the conference room behind for doing the taxes. So that does take that out of the mix for us. I probably mentioned sorry?
It's big.
It is, yes, it's great. Building repairs, the partition I mentioned last time, but it was in November. Both our dishwasher and our freezer needed repairs, and the parts are still pending. We finally did get somebody out to look at both, but it wasn't easy between facilities and me or Fred. But the part for the freezer window is, I'm just mentioning it, $2,500. So it's just, these are now the things that we didn't anticipate, and are they necessarily built into the budget? Yes or no, but I talked last
And they're not
month.
covered under warranty anymore.
Not, right.
Right. So-
We think we already had that replaced when it was under warranty, which isn't a good thing. But just mentioning it because I talked about the budget line item last month for the property, building and property maintenance. So these are the things, but actually Cam from facilities, I think, offered to take that because I did have a big bill that I didn't expect for something that was done a year and a half ago. But I thought facilities or the project might have still been used for that, and now it wasn't because we didn't get the bill in time. And it was for the tinting of the windows in the Egypt room to
Right.
try to
Right.
make it a little bit darker for the movies without being pitch dark. So anyway, that was a lot of money.
Can I ask, what was the problem with the movable wall?
It needed probably general maintenance, but it was gouging the floor when you move it, and
Okay.
some of the pieces that are sporadically spaced,
Mhm.
so those needed replacing, like hinges, I'm sorry, hinges. Put me on the spot there, see if I know what I'm talking about. And some.
I know a guy who does this, so I wanted to get
Well,
the
I mean, as
information.
it turns out, somebody has to be oiling it maybe periodically, that would help.
Okay.
So facilities now knows that, and they will take care of doing that a little more regularly, but, so there were things that needed to be looked at. So remember, we got that down from 3,000 to 1,500, and honestly, they didn't do anything differently than they would have done if I
They-
signed that $3,000 quote. So, it was just a half day. So anyway, we did have our new copier installed and are getting service tomorrow. So it was installed on the 14th and we're getting service tomorrow because something's not right. Social day program, no real updates, I guess. It's everything sort of status quo full, even on the Friday morning with a short wait list.
It's actually a little higher now. I got a couple more
There you go.
today.
Daily, changes daily.
Yeah, for the wait list.
That's great.
I thought we had kicked up to 9, no?
We did.
We did, but a couple have left.
Okay.
We want to be at 8. We just
Yeah,
been
yeah,
thinking
yeah,
it would
yeah.
be for a short time.
Yeah.
So November, December events, just might mention a few. Storybook Cove did their pop-up, which is nice, and I think you might remember they give us a little donation from the proceeds percentage that they sell. Archie Richards, who everybody does still love, sort of followed up the Thanksgiving luncheon with a classical concert, which was obviously well attended. We had our big band concert just last week, so technically that was December, but we did have a good 90 people show up on a
great.
pretty cold night, not night, but 4 o'clock, which felt like night. And it really was an hour of music, but we had some refreshments and cookies first, and so it was a really nice.
That's a good turnout.
Nice night.
Nice.
Yeah, people did appreciate it, and the band was 18 members. First time we've had them here, but we know some of them, as it turns out, because when you play an instrument, you like to play an instrument, and so they sort of,
Yeah, I saw
Belong
some
to
of them
many.
coming in, and they were the same people from the Valentine Jazz.
Oh, the Valentine.
Yeah, a few of them, yeah,
Right, funny. So that, speaking of that, that is scheduled again for the Sunday in February, the 15th. So, not to say we're making, it's not about Valentine's Day, it's sort of more of a Sunday jazz
It's
brunch, it
fun.
just happens to be a Valentine's weekend. So, same band, Driftway Jazz Band, so that'll be nice. We have, and the Foss had their holiday craft fair in November, which I didn't get to see. Gail did assist with that during the day, but I think they did very well and we're happy, so that's.
We were
good.
very
And they are.
happy.
Yeah.
Gail did a great job.
Yeah.
I mean, she was there for us, everything that we needed, so we were very, very
I'm
impressed.
good. That worked out. So we've been working on developing a new program with Susan Kelly here and Gail and another volunteer, Jean Fernandez, and myself, to begin in January, called Enter the Blue Zone. So we are featuring the concept of the Blue Zone that has a 4-week
Enter the
or
Blue
4-episode 4-episode series called Living to 100 Secrets of the Blue Zone. So we're planning to show that in January and then follow that up with monthly featured events for each of the principals or the tenants that contribute to the longevity that they talk about for each of these areas in the world. So hopefully it's great, so that will be in the newsletter, you'll see, but also there'll be some promo around that we hope. It's, you know, it's a little bit of a targeted lifelong learning or just a way to package some things that we want to promote. So it was a nice idea Susan brought, and so I think it's going to be great, but that's taken a little work, of course. Also Marie, our own Marie Fricker, formerly of the board, she is offering the first, anyway, at least an introduction to genealogy in February for us. She wanted to do that a while back and then, you know, had to step back, so now she's good and hopefully that will turn into something regular, because I think we've wanted to have something, whether it becomes a monthly meeting group or just more education on how to do it. But she'll talk about that and how she's learned to do it, but
That's great.
she has a lot of information to share. I did start a new 8-week Tai Chi in November, which will run through January, and then I'll start it up again in February, and that'll be a little bit part of the Blue Zone stuff, so just stuff that we feature that falls under that umbrella for contributing to longevity, which Tai Chi does, they say.
It's still gonna be at the same time as the
So far.
Art for the Mind.
Same time as Art for Your Mind, well, the once a month Art for Your Mind, yes. It is the same time as Art for Your Mind. Yes, we're, what do I want to say, you know, scraping the bottom of the afternoon barrel trying to put things in. We had a presentation today that was really good. They also had done it at the library, but Bill Schmidt and another man whose name I know, Paul Bolton, I guess was his name.
Yeah, how'd that go?
On disaster recovery aid and funding both domestically and internationally. And it might have been better attended if it wasn't at 2 o'clock, but that's when we could kind of put it. So who knows, hard to say. It was good, it was great actually,
I was
but
gonna try it.
it's more about, not to say lighting a fire, but letting people know where now that funding has been really virtually cut, how is this going to work moving forward, should there be another disaster, and there already has really been some, and where might the money come from, and how might we get the word to those people that we need to help us make that claim that we need more funding from the government, not just the supplemental organizations that volunteer to do this. So it was well done. The other guy was from the Department of Federal Public Health, AID. But, and Bill used to work for FEMA until just recently retired. I would say retired, I think we're saying that, but of course, something happened with the money, so he was retired, I think. Anyway, so also we had a great meeting, sort of for the benefit of outreach with Donna Shakrala, who you all have met from Social Elder Services, and even though it dawned on me when she was here, and I've known her for the years I've been here, that not everyone has that full understanding of what she promotes through Social Elder Services and also even what they do, or in our case it was sort of about what are the right calls to make, how to direct through the Social Elder Services system. So it was a good meeting and everybody was, I think, happy to do that, along with Erica couldn't make it, so Nicole Roach is the social worker that is through the Cohasset Scituate Hingham collaboration that they have going on. So she's a big help to us too anyway. So,
Donna would know how to navigate over there.
So that's really my report, and we don't have an activities report. Poor Gail actually was in an accident last night, so she was not here today.
Okay.
Is she okay? Car accident.
Oh.
She's okay. It was a real
Scary.
accident in total, but it was, I don't know the full story, but yes, we were having a little gathering at Widows Walk for just the staff, and she was coming, and then just ended up in the accident.
Oh, no.
Right down on First Parish by, before the post office. I like gas station. She's okay, but
Not true.
not completely okay. So anyway, then I did print out, I actually typed up some stuff I thought, just the numbers wise, and then couldn't print those in our brand new printer copier effects. So I don't know. So I did it, but, just for your own information. And I know we looked at this last week for numbers, but there's a difference between total event sign-ins and total swipes. So that number is fairly disparate. Like total event sign-ins for all events in the building or what we categorize, even just coming in for social or just to go to the cafe or go to the cardio room. No, that's not in yours.
Oh,
Because I couldn't end up
Okay.
printing.
Oh, that's right, you
the
can
right one.
print it.
But, 3,500 event sign-ins,
Okay.
3,500. So
Wow.
that's for 1 month, 3,500 sign-ins for everybody that came in the building. And that translates to 875 individuals if we caught them all. But like I had a talk with Mahjong today, and, now,
no.
why is that important? And do we
Yeah,
have to, and is it okay if we signed in over?
We never
We
signed.
never signed in, but, so, we keep trying to get that word. And it really isn't about the reports or just telling people how many people come in the building, but yet it is.
Right.
And sometimes it's about communication about certain things, because maybe a class is canceled, as you all know, but it's just important to know who's coming and for the right things. So hopefully they are. But 875 is probably 900 people, which is about what we've been saying we do a month, more or less, 1,000 maybe in the summer. Whereas total swipes was less, so that means people who use their scan card actually to swipe at the machine is less. We might do it manually because all the front desk, when they have to give us money, the front desk has to either check them off or write them down because they didn't pre-register. And then we have to manually put that check mark in the system or their name. And so for instance, foot care, I know it's not the right number, and that's because that's probably late getting into the system, because basically people just sign up at the front desk and pay their money. So again, it's automated, but it has to get in there.
And normally we're higher than 3,500 swipes.
Are we?
That's what I'm asking.
Don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. That's just for November, which is
It seems like a
pretty
lot.
good. I
That
mean,
seems like
I'd
a
say
lot.
it's been a busy month. It's also a short month, like I said, so if that is the case. And normally, you're right, Gail's report would have probably showed you last month and this month. But right now, we don't have this month. Well, unless I go back in my notes. But, yeah, it's not tremendously different. I will say, like, one of the things we had, it was well attended in the whale screening. Did I talk about that last month? I think I did. So that was not bad. Well, actually, it says 46, and I swear we had 60. So, but Archie was 52. I think that's probably accurate. So, some stuff we do well, and some stuff we don't do well. What am I say? Most of what we have on here otherwise is pretty good. But. So those were the special events, at least noted for activities, and lots more to come, of course, as well, for January and February. So we are very lucky, and I guess, I don't know if everyone had met Janine.
I have not.
Janine Chisholm is our
Nice to meet you finally.
outreach coordinator as
Welcome.
of September, it was about September 8th. So we've been thrilled to have her, and so this is her first visit to the board to talk about what she's been doing, and she's been doing a lot, of course, and has jumped in very quickly to understand a lot of what we do, and people are knocking on her door unannounced, just to, she has a chair and they're using it,
So it's been wonderful, and it's been a warm welcome from everybody here and also the community. I'm finding that there are still lots of people who don't know what help is available really at their fingertips, but I'm sure it will always be the way it is through the grapevine. People are finding us, and I always say there's always a way to find an answer, whether it's right here or helping them find who can get them the answer, which is wonderful. And you'll see, I guess, the things for November that were the busiest was the fuel assistance, because the application, the program runs from November 1st through, I believe, April 30th, right? So there are people who have been in the program before that they get their recertification paperwork, and they just, sometimes like extra eyes. It's always helpful to have another person look, make sure everything's correct, but it goes in and it's done. So we're always happy to help them look over, send it in, and then people, it's time to sign up for the program. We do have the applications. They can come in, fill them out, and again, we can just help them gather all the documentation that's needed and send it on its way.
So we actually only had 4 new people, is what
Four
you're saying,
new
4
people.
new applicants
Although
for
I
that.
say, I have to remember to
Ah.
type them all,
Yeah.
and every once in a while we'll do a quick look over, and
Yeah.
they're coming on, but yes. I
How,
think there was one.
if I could just interrupt, just for a variety of reasons, I'm interested in knowing
Sure.
about this, but how do people, what are the qualifications? I mean, is it just salary income based?
Income based, and they have hard and fast numbers, and they, I think, recently updated them, so we have a spreadsheet. They do require that you, some of the documentation that goes with it will be income documentation.
So what is the, do you know what the cutoff is?
I feel like there are different numbers for how many people are in your household.
Oh, I see.
I want to say that for 2 people, maybe it's 67,000.
Oh,
I think it's, that number for some reason is.
how do people find out about it?
Yeah, right.
How do they find out about it,
I think.
whatever it is?
Is
it like a-
I mean, we have it in the newsletter that it
It's
exists,
available.
but otherwise it's hard
Yeah,
to
that's what I'm
say.
saying, otherwise, you know.
I mean,
Right.
hard to say, you know, the oil companies, they could tell them about it if people can't pay their bills.
Wow.
And it's run through Central Community Action Council, and so I'm sure that they have ways that they
Yeah.
advertise it as well.
I'm sure you'll probably see an up, so you're only helping people with their application, right?
Exactly, and we send them off to the Community Action Council.
I see.
But if someone was to jump online and just do a search for, you know, I need help paying, it's gonna immediately come up.
It will.
Yeah.
It does have an acronym, it's LIHEAP, and it's low
Yeah.
LIHEAP.
income, heating, electric.
What is
it? HEAP.
LIHEAP.
H-E-A-T?
Because of the early coldness,
Yeah.
and a lot of promotion on the
Yeah.
about it,
Yeah.
every station.
It is not senior specific.
It is not senior specific.
And this is one of those things also is for, as far as getting the word out. When people come to see us for various assistances, it's not, we don't just, you know, address the one thing. It's, Kelly sitting in on learning on how to, you know, when people come in and they say, okay, I need a little help with X, Y, or Z, it's okay, well, you're here, so have you heard of the fuel assistance? And have you heard about our food pantry? Have you heard? And so
I
that's
try to
one
do
way.
like a
Like resources,
Of course.
definitely, you know, where we think there might be needed.
Exactly, just to help in any way. And then the other outreach services just includes people popping in for various things, and they, you know, maybe, do you have the name of, my mother lives down at Meeting House Lane, do you have the name of cleaner for that area, or we keep various lists, and sometimes they're just quick things, some are a little bit more involved, and then you'll see technology support, we put that in the newsletter, and so people have been calling all the time.
That's really good, the
That's
number.
actually, it's nice because I find it really fun as far as some of the things that we get to help with, whether it's basic iPhone functions. One woman came in and I really loved it. She was going to lose her points on her credit card, and how could we cash those in? So that was really fun.
Well, that was
great. Yeah.
That was fun.
So those are, I guess, the bigger things that have been happening. And then it's all fairly self-explanatory in here, but just learning my way through how to help people when they need help. And I think the biggest message just being everybody needs help sometimes, so come, let us help. Connect you with different organizations or some folks that we have going through some medical hardships and they can use some financial assistance, so let us connect you with local charitable organizations who might help with things like heating bills or,
Food?
rent, food, things like that. Lots of people contacting us to find out what services are available for their aging family members. Sometimes they're not even quite sure what they need. A lot of times that is where social elder services comes in. We've navigated that as a family, so I know how hard it is to just like, now what? And getting, setting people on the path, connecting them with resources, that's a really big one.
And I will say we do get people from surrounding towns because of the reputation that we have of being so helpful for people. So we are getting people from Norwell, Cohasset, and Marshfield that come to us.
Do the outreach coordinators at those particular senior centers know that?
I don't know if they know that, but they're like, oh, word of mouth, go to Scituate. They're gonna help you. So
Is it too many, they feel less self-conscious?
it
You're
could be,
going to the
it could be,
hometown?
but I think
Yeah.
it's more that we like, and I will say Janine is amazing and like, yes, we will find an answer, or she will find an answer now if someone has a problem. I did that and Janine is following.
So is she the new
suit
Olivia
and-
Pope of the Scituate Senior Center? I'm deeply entrenched
I'll take
in
that.
this scandal right now.
What's raft?
RAFT is a program offered,
For mortgage
is it,
assistance.
no, it's federal. Mortgage, it's really sort of dire financial straits with mortgage or even moving costs. So for people who are behind on their rent and at risk of being evicted, they have certain criteria. You have to be kind of in dire straits, and then they offer assistance. And there's a significant amount of assistance that they will offer to help, and they would pay it directly to the landlord. Or if, say, the property that you're living in is at your risk of losing housing because it's being sold, they, RAFT can come in and offer funding for moving to relocate. So it can be really helpful for people who experience that. So it is great. Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, could you just take like a couple of minutes, just give us the Cliff Note version of your background? Like how you ended up here?
She ended up here.
It was
Yeah, 'cause I don't know.
I know.
Who are you?
So I.
Like, where do you
You're
live?
talking-
Do you have children? Are you married? What do you have for lunch?
Born and raised, and Fred's meals whenever I can, but born and raised in Scituate. So I grew up here and we moved back here soon after we got married, after our quick stint in South Boston. And I worked as an administrative assistant for a number of years, had kids, and I just did the mom jobs. Once that became too much and I worked for a local dentist at the front desk for quite some time. And then took a step back. We had some medical stuff in our family, took a step back and was really home. But during the years, I had been on the board of Scituate Community President. That was, and I had kind of a great peek deeper into our community. It was a joy to be a part of that. When it was time to go back to work, I started looking and seeing, and I kept coming back to these postings that were, and there was something that just drew me here, and it just fell into place. I walked in and met with Linda, and things were already happening between Kelly becoming assistant director. Transportation was open. I came, we met. There was talk about that.
That's right.
And then when we started talking a little bit about my time at community.
She actually, she did interview for
Yeah.
transportation. I was like, well, I've got
What do
something
you
else.
think you could do more?
So this was it, and it feels like a gift.
Oh,
It's
that's
a gift to be
awesome.
here. Yeah, every day is wonderful, yeah.
That's great.
Thank you.
Russ?
There was a presentation on gas and electric by Eversource this
There
month.
was, yep.
And I thought it was pretty well received. It wasn't a huge crowd, maybe
Hardly.
8 to 10 people.
Well,
at the
not
most.
even, not even. Wow. So, it was unfortunate just because it really had come to us, not from us, and it wasn't directly from Eversource either. Someone else had sort of requested it, and then they didn't come. So it was a very nice, in fact, they told me, Eversource told me, they sent their outreach people and their one-on-one, and it was great. I know you had come, but
They did a great job.
they did.
I think it
They-
was helpful.
There's a
And then-
line for them to do stuff like this, you know, there's a list, I should say, of places that would like them to come out and do that.
What do they do when they come? What do they talk about?
They talk about the various programs that you can get discounts on gas and electric.
They also did explain the bill, which I think was helpful just because things have changed. When you look at the bill, you don't know what those,
Right, numbers
all
are.
those.
The supply.
Why is this triple?
Right.
Where is that going?
Right.
Fuel and it's gone 3 times higher.
And I think that was very edifying because they did discuss, well, this deduction, not deduction, but this cost charge is basically for all of the assistance programs that you may or may not get, but you are all paying for those assistance
Oh,
programs,
nice.
which is interesting. So that's good to know. And then there was another charge
And for
similarly
redoing
that
all
they
the
spread
piping.
out.
Redoing all the piping.
So yes, the infrastructure, right, so we're all paying for that
You're all
too.
paying for
But
that.
the other thing that I think was confusing maybe to some is just, it was Eversource to talk about gas,
Yes.
not National Grid talking about electric. I had originally thought maybe it was both coming, but it was not. So, you know, people have different suppliers for that. So they were great. Now that they've been here, they probably would come back, and I think if you spread the word, people
I
would.
think it'd be nice to get National Grid
Yeah.
to come, because I
Yeah.
think Hummerock has Eversource,
Yeah.
we have National
Everybody
Grid.
else has national.
And that, I think it would be really helpful to have National Grid
Yeah.
come here.
Okay.
That would be good.
It would, they must have a similar offering program. Anyway, they were here and they were rolling up their sleeves, ready to help, and there were maybe 5 or 6 people really there for that.
I think almost everyone who did come sat for a
Yeah.
one-on-one consult
Yeah.
with them. So they had their laptops there and everything, and they had all their people at the home office available to talk, to speak to any
Yeah.
issue that you had. So it was really nice
It's
to
too
be
bad that it
done.
wasn't more well attended.
But I will say 1 or 2, I think immediately were able to get some
Get
help
some
or get some
yeah.
information that would help them.
That's good.
And also that was helpful because then Janine particularly sat in, I heard some of it as well, but now she knows what's available and can try to help people that didn't hear that and didn't know that.
So that was probably most of what I had.
Very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I just ask one other question? I'm listening here, some of your goals, like creating a list of individuals who might benefit from more frequent check-ins. How do you go about the check-ins? Because some people are very private. I have a few family members that don't like people to check in on them. So how do you get around that?
So I think it depends. I think there are certain people who we have identified who really enjoy, you know, a phone call, how are you doing? Or
Yeah.
maybe a drop off of sometimes of the meals on Fridays that they sell every once in a while. We can drop those off with people. We have had family members call and say, I'm worried about my mom. I think she's isolating. She will tell you she is not, but especially with the winter months coming. And sometimes, you know, we've reached out even just to say, hey, down at the senior center, things are changing, you know, we'd like to invite you for this or that. With the blessing of a family member, sometimes a neighbor will call and say, it's amazing, I think, actually, we've had people say, my family member doesn't want help. And then one in particular that I'm thinking of, I sort of, as I'm watching and learning, you know, Kelly picked up the phone, and it was amazing how receptive the individual was when it wasn't coming from a family member.
When it wasn't-
Yeah, I mean, everything I thought I was saying, well, of course they're gonna say, no, thank you, no, thank you. It was, oh, oh, that sounds great, yeah, yes, please, can you tell me who to call for this or that? And so, and then there are people that we've reached out to, and I'm fine, thank you, but it's just a phone call. And
So it's, you
can't hurt.
do it by phone mainly,
Sometimes.
just initially.
Initially, and then, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's
You
it.
can visit.
I think it's great, because there are a lot of people that isolate.
You met with the minister from across the street. Is there any overlap with the outreach programs or anything like that, or how does?
Well, he was talking about a few of the programs that he runs or that they offer, that there was some overlap.
Yeah.
I mean, a grief support group,
Yeah.
a mindfulness, I think,
Yeah.
monthly or weekly, I can't remember, program, and there were some other
Well, he was
opportunities.
supposed to come this week.
So, I mean, there's opportunity
Yeah,
there, it's
yeah.
just, you know, a little bit of overlap, but, you know, you never know what could happen with that.
We're gonna meet with him on, well, it was supposed to be Tuesday, but he needed to cancel, and so.
Yeah, we have plans to meet.
That is actually an interesting thing, because I know at St. Mary's, somebody has started an outreach ministry for people in the community that need help, like a ride to church. Do you remember offhand what her name is?
Yeah, it's Diane Duffin.
Diane Duffin, yeah.
We've been in touch
And
with
so,
her. Yeah.
have you been in touch
Yes,
with her?
yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
great. Because
No,
I just,
yeah.
you know, that just sort of spurred my,
Great.
because they, you know, they're trying to do the same thing, and they have a whole team of volunteers that are willing to help out, you know, somebody just to keep them company or take them shopping or whatever. So it's all that kind of stuff, so.
My wife works with the hospice people and she makes house calls, basically, not medical, she's retired now. But she goes in and she plays Scrabble with the champion every week, among other things, so
So who's that through, though? I didn't,
hospice.
the actual hospice
Yeah.
organization.
You mean like Norwell?
The Norwell visiting nurses who are now changing their name to
Oh,
something
all right,
else.
but that is the organization she goes through.
So I just thought
Yeah.
it'd be nice, it would be great to link up. I don't think we make any house calls like that, but
We have in the past had a friendly visitor program that we were getting, or
That's
had
right.
gotten off the ground
Oh,
before
right.
COVID, and then
Remember that.
obviously, and we've talked about it again, but sometimes maybe we don't need to be the ones to do it, or could do it a different way, but we
well,
have started
even if
that.
we just link up with those other organizations in
Well,
town
there
that are
is
trying to
one
offer
that-
it.
I had met at the Council on Aging Fair, and then you actually now are working with them
Yeah, I talked to somebody 2 days ago, there was a similar program, and.
out of Bridgewater.
Right, and they basically, she said, I have the volunteers, that I can drum up volunteers from your community. I have the sort of the skills and the know-how to do that. What I need are
People that are in need.
people who are in need of these visitors. And the goal of this organization is to create friendships and more like what you're talking
Like a
about.
Big Brother, Big Sister program
Exactly,
for
that-
adults.
Right, and in a nice way, and so, and it takes the burden off of you being kind of the management of the whole system, really we would be in charge of, but it's something that we have to talk about more and meet with them, but we have plans to meet after the holidays.
That sounds
So
great.
it's on the radar, yeah, I think it'd be nice. Stay tuned, yeah, on that one, yeah.
Very good.
Thanks.
Anybody
you.
else have any questions for Janine?
We're in good hands. No, Kelly.
Kelly up next? Yep.
Let's see, the past month has been productive, full of meaningful community connections, program engagement, remains strong. Continued collaboration with local partners has supported the mission to serve older adults with compassion, resources, and opportunities for connection. So our meet and greet sessions continue to be well received. offering a welcoming introduction for new participants and maybe some that have been out of the coming here and want to refresh for returning to the community here. The Grieve Not Alone support group remains supportive, open space for participants to share and connect, and I must say they love it. They love just being able to kind of tell their story, and if they're telling it more than once, it's good, and everyone is so receptive. It's great.
Do you have how many?
10. The Resources for Caregivers group continues to provide valuable education, emotional support with ongoing positive feedback. I either come up with a topic that we talk about and then kind of do a roundtable, or I'll have a guest speaker. And funny, we just mentioned Norwell B&A. I did have Phyllis come from Norwell B&A to talk about the new branding, and she actually was really good about talking about PT and how to help someone maneuver with one of the gate belts, or if they're sitting. Just was very informative to people. They all loved it.
What is their new branding gonna be?
Croy,
Croy.
it's an
Change
Irish
the
name meaning heart, right?
With a funny logo.
Yeah, I know.
Like people
It
are.
doesn't seem strong, but
Yeah, I don't 100% know, but I will say that people do love Norwell B&A, and maybe they just want it to be a little bit different from South Shore B&A. I'm not 100% sure, but people, they do a nice job.
Kelly, just on the Grieve Not Alone, do you have any men in it?
I do, one.
Yeah,
Yeah, one.
Bill.
Yeah, and he loves it. Like, he actually did the group with Susan last year, and he just finds, and he is funny, and yeah,
He is
he
funny.
really, he enjoys it, so.
Does he still go to Malden on the weekends?
I don't think so. We were in New York recently, but. And I attended we had a meeting with the collaborative social workers, so our social worker, the Cohasset team that, Cohasset Hingham Scituate team that is under the grant funded one, as well with the Housing Authority and Mary Ellen Scott from South Shore Elder Services. So it was just nice for all of us to get together, with Janine, and we had it here. Cullen, was it Cullen or you that arranged it? Cullen arranged that from the Housing Authority. But it is nice for all of us to kind of be together and kind of bounce things off each other. So that was a nice little meet. Linda already talked about how we met with Donna from South Shore Elder Services. She talked about the options counseling, which was really informative to all of us. I attended the select board meeting where the budget was discussed.
Did you have fun?
It was fun. It was actually interesting. I did enjoy it. So it was
through the whole
interesting for me to
thing.
see the whole thing, because we were second class. Looking ahead, continuing to support and expand the programs I oversee, including the caregiver support group, the grief support, and the meet and greet sessions by refining content, engaging participants, and exploring new ways to strengthen connection and community. Nurturing the growth of our Together in Time, which is what we're calling our new memory cafe, which will start in January, with carefree planning of the program and collaborating with community partners to create a welcoming space for all of our participants, and getting the word out, whether it be through other memory cafes that host them locally, or our social day program, obviously, but also other people in our community that could utilize this memory cafe. Continuing to nurture our volunteer program, where every contribution is recognized, relationships are strengthened, and individuals feel inspired to stay engaged and make a difference. I love all of our volunteers. I think it's amazing what everyone does, so I am so happy to be able to work with them.
Do you have any idea how many volunteers there are now?
Yes, probably about 90 really active, and then some others that are a little less so, but sporadically used,
Yeah.
but that's about,
Yeah, between, the
I mean,
dining and the kitchen.
100 plus.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, and it's amazing, I always say, the senior center couldn't run without that.
And just to mention that again, board members are volunteers,
Right.
and at the very least, when you come, you can check in for the meeting, that's sort of attendance, but the volunteer hours
Oh, right.
are tracked by your, having your card, right? And then when you go into
You put it
volunteer, you say you're here for the board meeting, and so that's an hour and a half or 2 hours, whatever it becomes, calculated for our ultimate annual number. Even if it doesn't matter for you how many hours you necessarily work, we do report the numbers, so,
It's helpful to have.
yeah,
It's
my,
helpful.
my fault, maybe not making sure you either knew that before or know how to do it, but I'll just mention we could do, because you are volunteer.
Seeing our programs grow and knowing the positive difference they make in the lives of our older adults and their families is truly the most rewarding part of my work. Every smile, every conversation, and honestly, people stop all the time and are just so happy to talk to. I think all of our staff here is amazing, but people are just so happy to talk to any one of us. Every conversation and every moment of connection reminds me of why this community matters so much. I am deeply grateful for the opportunity to be part of this journey, to witness friendships forming, which they form, and at the front desk there, when I have 2 volunteers.
Right in
all
front of
sitting
our
there,
eyes.
Yes. And to help create a space where everyone feels valued, supported, and included. I look forward to continuing this work with passion, care, and dedication, always striving to strengthen the bonds that make our senior center a place of warmth, joy, and belonging. That's for me.
And good tidings for all.
Like a Christmas card.
Yeah, exactly, that's what it reminded me of.
Thank you, Kelly. Anybody have any questions for Kelly? Okay.
Busy.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, how are you finding that work-life balance now that you're running programs and you're the assistant
But
director?
it's good, it's good, it's busy. Like this first week of the month is super busy for me. And it's just different, it's different than, doing transportation or outreach, but I love that I still have my hand in it a little bit. And I love working with the volunteers too. Yeah, I mean, it's good. Good.
Perfect. Right?
Yeah.
You can jump into transportation, because I hadn't mentioned it. So Lauren also busy and kind of going crazy a little bit. For the first time that I can recall, really, weren't able to run our vans last Tuesday because we didn't have a driver.
Ooh.
And we have 6 drivers.
Yeah.
But because they're all part-time and may have a day or more, honestly, as well. But anyway, it just so happens that happened. And we need another one to have for backup. So we are pursuing that right now, as a matter of fact, just because she's that busy. And often 3 vans are out. And I guess to look at the numbers between October and November, I mean, maybe slightly down. But I'm not sure if that's really due to anything more than the holiday and just fewer days on the road. But otherwise, we're bringing them in, so they're coming to the Council on Aging for activities, lunch or whatever. They do stay for things, so 148, which was exactly the number for October,
I know,
which is
I know.
interesting. But we've been happy with both the service that we've been able to provide, of course, and Lauren being able to provide it. She is a manager, she is great.
How do you go about finding another driver? Do you advertise it?
Well, we could,
See it through
but we
COA?
haven't had to, so I know one person was interested, and so
Oh.
I'm going there because we sort of said you had to wait a little while, but we have something. But we did have another applicant who just came in off the street.
Oh, I see.
So we have a couple right now to choose from.
I know, because some of the senior centers really struggle to find drivers.
I mean, the obvious demographic is, retired in a sense, but not necessarily much older, so that, they've got to run the wheelchair, lift, and they've got to be able to help the patrons a bit, so there's some physical activity that goes along with it, of course. And the driving in general, obviously. They do have to go through a help,
Like a training program?
they do. That was hard to adjust to. That was part of an audit at one time that I guess we weren't necessarily doing it. And it's good, it's important, it's helpful to have that information right at the outset before they get behind the wheel. Anyway, so that is Lauren's quick report.
Well, we're getting to be 450 to 500 rides a month. That's getting up there.
Yep, it is. I mean, we're lucky, we have the funding that we have through GATRA, through the GATRA budget. I don't think we've exhausted it any year in recent memory, maybe close one year, but we do have that money to spend. So even though we charge for the rides, and sometimes I would feel better if they were free, they're not bad. You know, if it's a $3 round trip,
Right.
basically $3.50, and the medical rides are discounted, needless to say, so out of town. Even if we do charge the $20 for a Boston ride, that's still not, that's pretty good.
Right.
For door-to-door service.
Right, the GATRA is so much better than the SLOOP was.
Oh, the GATRA now with the on-demand?
Yeah.
Well, that's good to know, that's great.
So Linda, some of the insurance companies are now paying for medical rides. Is there any way to tap into that with the people who are doing those rides?
I don't know that, but.
Yeah, because I just had to change insurances, and one of the things they were talking about was medical rides. And
That they will
reimbursement
cover
for
your
that.
medical ride.
Yes.
So whether you call an Uber or.
Yeah, and I don't know yet, because it's, you know, it's a
Yeah.
little tiny pamphlet. They won't tell me anything until it's
Right.
time that they're paying for it.
I mean, we're a senior center that does this, but we're a little bit
Yeah.
unique, they do
So,
not all do it,
you
so
know,
where else do the rides come from?
If the person gets reimbursed, that would be great, because it would, you know, I don't know whether you'd have to give a receipt or something like that.
Well,
Or
we all
if
got
you could
Anna's,
actually bill directly.
so what
as a
we've been
provider.
doing for several years really is because of the insurance companies that will reimburse for fitness
Right.
classes or,
Right.
Right.
we can print off a list of the classes they've attended and the payments they've made, and they can submit that to their
Right.
insurance company, and they get reimbursed for that. Even though we're not an official health club, so that's worked for them. So whether we can do the same thing for one of our
Yeah, I mean,
customers,
that would be great if you could.
I don't know
Or,
why we
and
couldn't.
certainly that people will know now, maybe with their insurances, that they can get those rides paid for and reimbursed.
Well, interestingly, we did I didn't mention it, we just did this last week, or this week, Tuesday, this week, we saw an overview demonstration of a new component for my senior center that is for the transportation, which has really never been the best. We live with it, it's fine, we get the numbers, you know, we get the schedules, okay, we get the people in there, but it's not versatile. And this new one seems to be, it's great, we'll have to pay for it. For some reason I forgot to look at that, but I think we will probably get it, and that might make that easier, I'm guessing, especially if that's
That would
been a
be
known
great.
thing to have
Yeah.
affected other.
Yeah. Either way, it's gonna be great for you
Okay.
to have more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, good to know. And Anna's email, I mean, that was well taken too, maybe there is
Yeah.
another way to make that, well, the
Yeah, make that
electronic
connection.
paying has not really been an easy thing for us on, what do they call it, point of sale. We don't do that yet, but we've never been sort of able to do that, whereas we do have an ability to do some ahead electronic payments using the town website. It's a whole different thing than our software is. But we'll look into it, as I can, we'll look into it. That is
Just be
something-
careful about sending out emails to everyone on the board, especially about topics and discussing topics,
Okay,
because
I'll
that
have to do
is
that.
a violation of the open meeting law.
Thank you for that reminding. What was it?
Only send it to 3 at a time. That's what I do.
Well, when someone has something to discuss or a new topic, it's not, they can't do it to the whole board.
Right.
So, it can be discussed here at the meeting. or,
Oh,
you know,
I see.
add to the agenda, but not email. That is new. But Anna's new, so, and I didn't think of that.
Is that part of the open meeting
And I
issues?
almost
Yeah.
said to her, you gotta do this. And I thought,
Nice to
it's
have
not my
someone from the
place.
select board.
I know, it really is, and I'm sure that's written somewhere that I could provide. Probably should
I'm
have.
not scolding you, I'm just
No,
warning you.
no, that's true, it's an excellent reminder.
But
It
we
makes
don't
me-
talk about the open meeting law and that, like if we all went out to, after here to the mill walk, is that a violation?
No, as long as you don't talk about stuff that you would
So we,
need to.
so we
Like,
can't
if you're
talk
talking about
about.
your puppies and your grandkids and your whatever, that's
That's
fine.
interesting, I didn't know that.
What about a mill walk afterwards?
Always, right? Okay,
Well, that's
so
an
we're done.
easy segue to Freya.
I'm not going to the Mill Wharf. I'm going to the planning board meeting in like 10 minutes.
Okay.
I think the biggest news that will affect you guys is the Grantham Group has submitted everything that they needed to the state for next steps. I don't know what that means exactly, but it's moving forward.
Okay, my question just on that is, do they have to submit the design that they proposed originally, that I didn't think was like a definite design, do you know what I mean? Or do they just have to submit their interest in producing something here?
All I know is that they have submitted information
Okay.
to the state. I didn't get any
Just curious.
detail. I mean, I would be very surprised if they didn't come back and it actually be affordable, but they're moving forward.
Yeah, great.
So,
Grantham Group is who did Lawson Green, so it's the same group.
and then we've just been, budget over at the select board. So that I think is wrapping up next Tuesday.
It's the process.
And we've got a committee that we're putting together for the old Cushing site. So that'll be 6 members at large and then representatives from like the food pantry, the rec, affordable housing, and there might be another person involved. I can't remember. But so
To
that'll-
figure out
what to do with that property. So it's
Reuse.
16 acres. I think they're projecting that school's gonna be torn down in 27. So,
We're gonna do it. Right.
yeah,
The land.
yeah, it's gonna be completely leveled and grassed over, and then it's gonna be a clean slate. Obviously, if this project happens, the food pantry is gonna need a new home.
True.
So it's very exciting to be interviewing people and hearing all their ideas for that to move
That's great.
forward.
Fun. There's always something on the
And there's been a
horizon.
lot of water main breaks in Humrock.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Well, I think it was one. It always
One.
happens with these old pipes. It used to happen. My parents' street was notorious for this. Like it would break here, and then like
Yeah,
2
so they
feet
fixed it,
down,
yeah.
and it just like if anyone dug in the entire neighborhood, it would break and it would break and it would break. It was like a 1920s pipe, and then finally, like 2 years ago, they replaced the line, and it's amazing.
Wow.
Even paved the road.
1920 lines on my street.
Oh, you're in Richfield. There, we just voted to do the Avs next. So like the.
So with the roads.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so maybe
Maybe.
the Avs are going this coming fiscal year, and then the roads the next year. I don't know. I don't know the
Interesting.
priorities. What kind of pipes do you have? Copper.
I have no idea.
Some of them on our street are asbestos.
Yeah, there's about 70
that's
miles of the
Yeah, I
asbestos
think
cement.
because anyone that wants to sell their house, they have to put in a new line or something because they are asbestos. They have to replace them before they can sell the house.
Well, they're looking at the lead pipes right now.
Lead.
So
And that's
the
it.
lead is different from the asbestos
Okay.
cement.
I mean, they did come around and test all of us, but it took a while. No, I'm only kidding.
They should.
So when you say the abs, does that mean anything that ends in avenue?
No.
First, second, third.
The alphabet.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the
Oh,
alphabet streets.
The ones down off of Hadley.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was the
Oh,
number
like
street.
Seymour
Shore
Ave.
Acres.
Yeah, that's fine. I
That's
just
fine.
was curious how that was going to work.
I want
Maybe Holly, Fay, those ones?
Yeah.
Or it could have been, no, it was the number streets. It was the number streets, sorry. Like,
First, second, third.
yeah. And then Clock Road. That's next on the list.
I think I know the answer to this, but we're pretty much able to squeeze a balanced budget.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody's losing their job.
Good.
Nobody's getting hired either. But
But at least no one's losing their job.
Yeah,
That's a good thing.
you know, there's a couple positions that still haven't been filled that will not be filled, except for the new chief operating officer for the water treatment plant will obviously have to come on at some point when that new facility.
Oh,
So that'll
okay.
be in a year, but we're going fiscal year 27,
So is that
that's.
in lieu of whoever we have now?
No, it's another position.
Jim Woodrow is talking at the February men's ladies
Right,
breakfast.
so, right.
He agreed. So that's February 3rd, if it
Can I make a suggestion that next month you help us address the open meeting law? Because I think it's easy to violate and not even realize.
I would agree with you.
What?
I would agree with you.
I can see what we have, I can produce the documentation that we do
Yeah.
have. There's instructions for that. We need more? Sure. For you?
You gotta run.
I
And
know.
are you
Thanks for being
violating
here.
it when you reply all?
Does anybody have any other quick
Don't
questions for
anybody
Fran?
reply all,
Yeah, you don't do that.
Don't do that.
Just reply to whoever said it.
but everybody does it.
Right.
You're right. Voice of experience.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, we've got some zoning bylaw changes to be discussed.
Oh, I see some fascinating.
Bet you can't wait.
Hope it's short. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hope you guys have a great holiday season.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Kenzie,
So, more good news on top of it. The state and the feds are actually paying, so it's constant money coming in.
Awesome.
There's still.
full 100%, or was it like
No,
50%?
it's not yet.
Yeah.
It's not, they haven't finished paying for last fiscal year
Okay.
yet at the state side. So, but it is coming in, and it's almost all paid, and it's actually made a huge difference, because having an influx of a huge amount of money at the same time is always helpful, because then you can distribute it rather than having it come in dribs and drabs, and you have to kind of figure out what you're gonna do with it. There's still a freeze at the highest level, but the union positions can be filled. No one, as far as I know, is going without services who has asked for it. So that's really pretty amazing that they've been able to do that. I think everybody is working really, really hard. Most of the people at the upper levels are doing more than one job. They're doing one plus a piece of somebody else's. And the only sad news is that Ren, who is their person who does all of the policy work, is going to retire in February. And I don't know how they will replace him. He's amazing. So aside from that, everything seems to be as well as can be expected. But, you know, it could change tomorrow. You never know. And that uncertainty is still there.
So a new application is being accepted for
Well,
home health?
if you go,
I thought I heard talk to somebody who said they were told no.
all right, so if you call a state and your application goes through that way, then South Shore will never know that you made an application for some things that will never get accepted until they have full funding at the state level. And that would be the level 4, which is the lowest level of need. If you call through because you need Meals on Wheels, or you just got out of the hospital and you need some help, and it goes direct.
To South Shore Elder Services.
Direct to South Shore, and I don't know if that's what you do, but they will pay for it out of their own money, not the state's money.
That's an interesting distinction, but that's helpful.
It's
Call the
helpful,
state,
it's
probably no,
helpful
call
for
South
the
Shore Elder
person,
Services, probably yes.
it's not helpful for the budget side. But yes,
Okay.
I mean, and the state has a waiting list for people coming on, especially level 4. which is the lowest level. People who are at the higher levels will move up as they're on their waiting list. So if you're sick and you get worse, then you would move up the waiting list from a 4 to, I guess it's a 3, I don't know what the numbers mean. And then you would qualify because the state will qualify you,
Okay.
because your need is great. But it's not something that continues or can continue into the future, because there's just isn't enough money in the entire system without the federal monies coming through, paying for things, for the state to pass it through, for South Shore to be able to do the work that they do, and then for the money that they pass on to the communities to do the work that they do. So there are, I think, 4 home care agencies that work with South Shore. They've been very generous in working with South Shore, and it's very much appreciated. If those contracts change in any way, shape, or form, if one of them doesn't want to contract next time the contract year is over, then that would change everything.
Then you got fewer suppliers.
Yeah, or different suppliers, and most of those contractors are not local contractors. A lot of them have companies throughout the United States, and they have their own rules and regulations that they follow, and most of them are for-profit, they're not non-profit, so they have a bottom line that they have to meet for the people who own the company, whether they're individually owned, whether they're owned by some market group,
Yeah.
or whether they're a corporation with stockholders that they have to. And that's just not us, it's everywhere.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like, yeah.
It's
pervasive,
everywhere,
right.
because the federal monies determine what you can do at the state level, pretty much. And there is an interesting set of bills in the legislature now which will affect local people if they go through. One is that caregivers and caregiver associations will have to be licensed, and that's a really good thing. So now, if I wanted to start a company and I hired all of you, then you would have to go through some state level training. But you wouldn't be licensed. You could be like me, coming off never having caregiven ever a day in my life, and I could still take care of your grandmother who is ill, without the gait belt training, without, how to lift a person, without knowing how to give someone a shower or a bath. So that's going to be really good. So that's going to keep the big corporations in line, I think, because they'll have to be licensed by the state and they'll have to meet whatever criteria the state determines. The second one is more interesting to me because it's setting it up so that if you're a caregiver for a person who lives in your home that's related to you, right now, you cannot be paid for that caregiving, no matter what. But an adult child, a spouse, a parent. If the person lives with your sister and you do the caregiving, then you can be paid. It's just an insane thing. Because what spouse is going to let their spouse go somewhere else to be cared for so that they can get paid to take care
So
of
they're
it?
gonna try to change that?
Yeah, yes. So it may mean a change to the Medicaid level that the state of Massachusetts has right now. They may have to revise their Medicaid plan. But that's a nothing. That's a big nothing. Shouldn't change, it shouldn't be difficult to do. They may not even have to do that because the state already does it for other states, like Arizona, for example, already has done it for like 20 years now.
I will say that there are some veterans benefit programs that do allow
Yes.
family to be paid by.
In Arizona, when I worked there, it was the #1 state in the union for taking care of people who have conditions that would qualify them for living in a facility.
Mhm.
And rather than putting in a facility for a couple $100,000 a year,
see.
they can stay at home for, what, $10 an hour, $15 an hour, $20 an hour maybe, for the caregiving that they're allowed to do. And not everybody gets the same level of care.
Right.
I mean, if you don't need it, you don't get it, because the case manager goes in and makes an assessment of what you need. So that will make a huge change to many, many people who are now taking care of their relatives who live with them and possibly have given up a job
Yeah, that's it.
and are living a different lifestyle than they had before they had to do that. So those are two things. They're both in committee right now in the Senate, so we're just waiting to see what happens with that. But that's a very interesting change, and it will change everything.
Okay.
So that's
very
it.
good. And were you gonna double up with Foss reporting or not?
Yeah, well, we can tag team, right, on Fox.
If I could remember.
All right. Well, you can remember that we did a Christmas fair, which was very successful. And part of the success was the raffle. And Russ was standing right inside the door with his tickets. And he hit every person who came through the door and said, "Would you like to buy some tickets to our raffle?" And I don't think anyone in the universe has sold more tickets than Russ did that day. It was amazing.
We did very well.
Good.
We did super well. And people enjoyed themselves. We had more people, we think, than last time.
A lot of good vendors too.
We had tons of good vendors. We had 23 vendors this time. Last year we had 20.
I actually bought good vendors.
Yes, you were a good shopper.
I was a good
You
shopper.
really were. They, most of them said they will be back next year.
Yeah.
And we were again in competition with
Yeah, with
the
school,
high
right?
school.
Yeah.
I know,
Again.
unbelievable.
But it was okay because we sent people there and apparently they sent people to us. And the people who were doing, the Saturday round of fairs in the community were great. And we had, our local radio station was there and he was pretty amazing. He did a Santa interview and some people came in and they said, "We were down in Marshfield doing something else, and we heard Santa, and we just got in the
Got in the
car
car and came up?
and came up just
Beautiful.
to see Santa."
And then the food truck actually looked
The
like they
food-
were doing really
They
well.
did.
The food truck did great. They told me that they didn't do it to make money, but they did it for community because they wanted to be out in the community and give back to the community. And I guess they had wonderful stuff.
Yeah, they did. I mean, when I pulled in, there was actually a line. of
Yeah,
people
they
waiting.
cooked outside, and they were like so cheerful. They were great.
Which food truck?
It's,
Crossroads.
Yeah, it's from the,
Crossroad?
the
the one
place
that's
on, the
next to
sandwich
Bucky
shop
Joe.
on the Driftway.
Crossroad,
Yeah, and they were great. They were just terrific. They were there the whole time. They got there at, I think, set up at 10, started serving at 11, and stayed till the bitter end.
They were very
So-
nice too.
They were.
And it was a nicer setup this year because they had an outside grill
Yeah,
Yeah.
and people were just hanging around the grill
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah,
It
really
was very
nice.
friendly.
It
and
smelled
very
so
nice.
good. I don't even eat meat, and I was like, made me hungry. So, it was pretty amazing. Santa was his usual self.
Yeah.
He was great.
He was
Tons-
fantastic.
Yeah, tons of people had their pictures taken with Santa. I would recommend it. It's really a nice thing to do. And we all had a good time. There were maybe, 10 or 15 of us
Yeah.
who were volunteering that day. And we had a great time.
Good.
We really did. So thank you if you came, and if you didn't, come next year.
I hired a cleaning lady from that day, so that
Did
was
you?
nice. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
She's been great.
It was just a wonderful.
Yeah, what's her name?
Yeah, it was a
She's
great
been
day.
fantastic so
Yeah,
far.
we all went home feeling good. after.
great.
So,
What was-
thank you to the senior center for giving us the space to do it. And for giving us someone to be there as our reference during the day. She was terrific. I can't
It was
say
really
enough.
interesting, because a few of the vendors were like the turning wood people. They,
Yeah.
like a few of the vendors that actually do workshops at the senior center were the vendors. So that was sort of an interesting, a nice connection.
Yeah.
They were here.
Yeah, it was fun. And then we had, we always have the young boy who does the Christmas cards.
And I buy from him every
Yeah,
year.
and everybody loves him. But this year we had 2 young girls who made things and brought them in. And they were absolutely delightful too. So it was just a fun day.
It was nice that in the parking lot, there was always like one spot open when
Yeah.
someone came. It was this
It's like,
really nice turnaround that was going on all day long.
the
Where
parking
people-
fairies were
yeah,
out.
It
Yeah,
was lovely.
yeah.
That-
Yeah, it
that
was.
worked
It
out.
seemed like every time a car pulled in, another one was pulling out.
Yeah,
It was pretty good.
and it never got like quiet on the floor. There was always a little
Yeah.
flow of people walking around and stuff. It was good.
Yeah, it was good. See, we're smiling even now.
Good to hear. Does anybody else have any other business to bring up tonight?
I just think we should give a shout out to Elaine for all of her work on the insurance. Shine volunteering.
Yeah.
We try to do that.
Busy time.
She is out now for a little while.
Oh, really?
There's somebody else, well, in a little while, but yes, she's not able to take appointments this month, I believe, or at least for the next couple.
Russ?
Shout away.
I'm just blown away when I read the circular that comes out every month and all the activities that are going on. And they're not all like a repetition of what happened the month before and stuff like that. There's new stuff coming through. And I just want to applaud you guys, all of you guys, for the work that you're doing, because it's got to take a tremendous effort to try to keep all these things going. And you guys keep coming up with new ones and more interesting things, and people keep coming, so thank you for what you
Staying to
guys
notice,
do.
thanks, yeah, hopefully everybody is smiling. Here too, because it is a lot.
And the constant contact reminders is helpful too.
Best on that. Even if I have to send out 3
Mark
times because I
Montgomery
keep making a
has
mistake. Keep reading.
Do I have I'd like to close the meeting, do I have a motion to close?
Make a motion to close.
So thank you, Pat, 6:28. Well, everyone have a happy holiday season.
Merry Christmas,
Everybody.
happy holidays.
It gets busier and busier, it seems like.